Welcome to It's On Halifax with your hosts, Mark Adam and Pat King. It's On Halifax is brought to you by A2 Canada and Oasis on Spring Garden Road.
And welcome to another episode of It's On Halifax. I am one of your co-hosts, Mark Adam. Also joining me is the other co-host,
Pat King, back from my long voyage.
Yes.
My 2-week hiatus.
And our special guest this week is the one, the only, the real Fat Apollo.
Thank you, sir.
How are you?
I'm very well. A lot of excitement on the street today.
Yes, this street is I call it Student Row. And the building that keeps getting the fire trucks called to it is a student housing union.
Yeah, that's the one that has the families in it, isn't it? Is it the family one?
There's two side by side, beside the sports field, the Lundy's Lane or whatever. Okay. Goes back to the Goresbrook Fields.
Okay, yeah. That used to be a naval unit.
Yeah, there's two big apartment buildings. One's the student housing unit, and the other one's just a regular apartment building. And the fire trucks are there. It's the third time this week that I've seen them.
Yeah. Somebody's a very bad cook.
Bad cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. If I were them, I'd just unhook my fire.
Pull the battery out.
Yeah.
That always used to happen to us at our house, is that we used to pull the battery out and put it in the Coleco football game. Remember the little Coleco football game that was just the diodes? So you always knew that there was this about 2-week period where the game was more important than your family's life, because if there was a fire, they were doomed. But at least you could be outside playing the game as the house burnt down.
Yeah.
So you felt pretty good about yourself.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Fair enough. I had an amazing experience last weekend, 2 weeks ago, at Hal-Con.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Did you enjoy that?
Oh, yeah, I always enjoy it. I mean,
how'd you enjoy it, Pat?
Shut up.
Oh, that's right.
I missed it. I was in Japan at the time.
Oh, well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience, but I'm so disappointed that I missed it. I watched Adam talking to John Rhys Davies, and I wanted to cry a little bit.
There was that moment where there were tears in his eyes that you could see.
Yeah.
You're like, hold it together, man.
And I missed it the year before. I saw the games room and the pinball machines.
Oh, that's awesome!
Pinball machines.
Yeah, that was great.
He's a
huge pinball fan.
Oh, me too.
I'm a big nerd for pinball machines.
Yeah, and I made sure that I included a big pan of all the in the video that I made from Hal-Con this year. I included a big pan of all the pinball games that Pat was missing out on.
Yeah, I love pinball. It's hard to find a good pinball machine anymore.
One that's in
good
working
Hal-Con,
condition.
Yeah. Well, that's a fella in a little group of people that have the pinball machines. But I used to play pinball on the BC ferries when I lived in Victoria and we go to Vancouver. Yeah. So you get on the ferry, and first of all, the idea of a pinball machine on a ship is kind of funny. But what happens is when you go from Victoria to Vancouver, you have to go through a thing called Active Pass, which is this huge S-shaped channel, and the ship lists like this as you go through the S, like the big ship. So when you're playing the pinball machine, as you head into one list, the board literally goes negative angle. And there's no tilt mechanism on these machines, obviously, right? So
they've been disabled because of that.
So you got one point where the ball's down here, and you've got nothing you can do. And then you go the other way, and it's an angle of about 75 degrees, and you're trying to knock the ball with the flippers, and it's going like that.
That makes me laugh.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
awesome. Yeah. There was a lot of good stuff at the Hal-Con. Yeah. There was a lot of really cool things, and I got a chance to talk to you there.
Yes, you did.
Yes, and it's actually the big chunk of the video is it's like a 5-minute interview.
That was a good talk.
It was a good talk.
I enjoyed the video went up recently. I really like the editing job you did on that. It was
that was sweet, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Did you? I don't know if you saw the video.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Of course, yeah. I'm the cover photo, so of course I'm gonna watch it.
Well, yeah, you were the cover photo.
I was the cover photo.
I gotta use the local guy.
Yeah.
Pitch it to the Halifax people. The local celebrity. My favorite question that I asked you and my favorite answer that you gave me was, how did you become a local celebrity? And you said, I just decided I wanted to be. Yeah. Which was pretty much my suspicion.
Yeah. And now I can release, remember I said I had the announcement from the Best of Awards. And now I can make the announcement that, it's now in the paper.
Yes.
I was voted second most Halifamous person.
And I noticed that you posted on Facebook a nice message to the lady that won gold, who was Ellen Page, by the way.
Page.
Which read, fuck you, Ellen Page.
I'm sick of losing to her. Well, you know what? I look at it this way.
She hasn't lived in Halifax for years.
I sent her a
Doesn't mean
tweet.
she's not Halifamous.
Sent her a tweet. Didn't respond. I tried to do the olive branch. When I won Sexiest Person in February, beating her for the first time in 7 years, I sent her a tweet. She wouldn't answer me. So I just think she's being kind of stuck up. So
well, she's so famous she might not even do her own Twitter account. Yeah, Ashton Kutcher doesn't do it anymore.
I'm sure she doesn't read the Coast anymore.
No, it doesn't read the Coast.
Radar completely.
So we were lucky too because we won. I won second most Halifamous, which was great.
You beat out Sidney Crosby.
I beat out Sidney Crosby.
Yes, you did.
And we won.
Sorry, Sid.
We won Best Podcast, which was really nice
Geeks
for
versus Nerds,
Geeks versus Nerds.
Yeah.
Won Best Podcast, and we won silver for Best Comedy Night for
There you
Geeks
go.
versus Nerds. So it was a triple winner. So I believe that ties us with most ever. That one person winning 3
In a year?
in a year.
There you go.
Yeah, so it was a very good. I love the Coast. So a lot of fun to win.
The Coast is the Coast. I mean, it's
Yep.
the only independent weekly that is worth reading in Halifax.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You got the dailies, but you pay for those. You get your Chronicle Herald and the Metro is free, but what a piece of shit that is. No offense. Every time I say something bad about the Metro, I get a tweet from Mike Beaton.
I like the Metro.
It's a legitimate paper.
I like the Metro.
There's no comics. The sports
no
section
comics.
is awful.
I don't read the-
awful.
The crossword is atrocious.
Oh, really?
But
It is.
I thought it was
But
okay.
it makes me feel good about myself because of how fast I can finish the crossword.
True.
Because
but
it is kind of a joke.
I've seen things misspelled, or sometimes they just chop a letter out of a word where there should be like a double vowel just to
make it
shorten
fit?
I'm just like, you're forcing
a type of ship, a slop. No, you're missing an O.
Yeah.
Sometime last week they had the same answer twice in the crossword.
Yes, or they have these like stock questions that
Yeah,
you
or-
see twice a week.
Or you get that like 21 down. Here's your clue, and then like 49 across is like see 21 down, and it's like this. It's that word.
Endless loop.
Like they're trolling you. You're like, wait a second, that's it.
I'm gonna stand up for the Metro and say I like the Metro. I think it's a quick read.
I think it's great for celebrity gossip.
There you go. You see, I need to be in it more than.
Well, the problem is that they go off and they find like I don't know, Jennifer Aniston and who she's dating this week because it's different every fucking week.
Yeah.
And so they go find that crap. They're like Lindsay Lohan. We're tired of hearing a Lindsay Lohan. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
But they just that's the kind of shit. And you're just like that's 15 pages of that and 2 pages is your sports section. One of which is always the Halifax Mooseheads. Everything Mooseheads, and then whatever other sports happened this week. World Series made it a whole page.
Oh my
God.
I like having something to browse every now and again.
Yeah,
Just
well,
reading,
you're on the
checking
bus.
over the headlines.
Well, see, I moved to Halifax because I couldn't deal with Metro Transit anymore. So
there you
fuck
go.
the bus.
You see, I'm North End Dartmouth boy, so I'm.
See, and I lived in
see-
North End Dartmouth until September 1st of this year.
Yeah?
I moved because I finally said, fuck you, Metro Transit. If you're not going to get any better, you're not getting $2.25 out of me every day.
Well, they're hiring.
So go pound sand.
They're hiring.
For schedulers?
No, they're hiring for drivers.
Oh. Well, that apparently I hear they have a really good contract.
Yeah.
As of
Somehow.
March. I don't know how that ended up happening.
Yeah.
Let's strike in the dead of winter when most people need us and old people are going to be
But
screwed.
listen.
And it cost me $1,000 because they decided that they were going to be douchebags.
But I'm telling you, no, but listen.
It was both sides. I hate both sides.
No, but I'm just saying, from a union standpoint, you want it to be when it's going to cause the most pain.
No,
it
and I get
has
that.
to be.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But that doesn't mean I have to like
You're
that.
just, you're just sour about the inconvenience.
Well, I don't
No,
blame you.
I'm sour about the $1,000 it cost.
Yeah,
me.
I'm not. Listen,
You're still sore.
I don't blame you for being sore about it because where I was working, we had tons of people that didn't have drives, and we were running a shuttle actually to go pick our people up and bring them to work. So I completely understand where you're coming from because I don't have a car.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I lost my mind. I was just like, you fucking greedy fucking bastard. And the only thing that's making me madder than that is the fucking NHL lockout.
Yeah,
That
you're
shit
having a
is
bad
still going
year.
on. I know.
You are really having a bad. At least you wear a Green Bay hat.
Goddamn
I'll give you that.
unions. Unions.
No,
You're
listen.
a Green Bay fan?
What's that?
You're
No,
Green-
I have a good friend who's a huge Green Bay fan.
Okay, are you watch football? Are you a
No,
football fan?
I don't watch sports.
I'm a constant NFL guy. Sundays, this TV doesn't. I
I can
mute it,
tell.
but I don't turn it off.
I can tell.
It's true. I've been here every Sunday for months.
Now you
and
see, now you're all worked up about unions.
It's
Why
true.
you got the big hate on for unions?
I don't. I understand why they're necessary.
Yes.
I follow the logic. I follow.
Yeah.
It's when it ruins a good thing
Yeah, I can understand.
You know what I mean? Metro Transit, that is a necessary service. They shouldn't have been allowed to strike.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Okay?
Yeah, I don't. I
It's
would
a
not
necessary service.
would not disagree with that.
That was my big problem with that whole thing. It's like all the doctors at the hospital saying, we're on strike, see ya.
Yeah.
Hope you don't bleed to death. Like, it's not quite as bad as that, but it feels like they are just as essential a service.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a car. There's a lot of people in that live in the metro area that can't afford to live in downtown Halifax because it's expensive.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
they live in Dartmouth.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you.
And the reason they are able to afford that and able to eat and able to pay their power bill is because they can pay $2.25 for a trip to work instead of the $20 cab ride it costs.
You feel very strongly about
Yeah,
this.
that's right.
I do. And
Are you frothing at the mouth?
you know what? I have avoided talking about Metro Transit strike.
I
on this
show up
show.
and this is what happens.
I've avoided that on the show.
God.
It's actually been brought up a couple times, and I have not.
I'm gonna hang this over his head now.
I
alright?
haven't. It has come up a couple of times, as Emily's aware.
I showed up the wrong time.
Emily's sitting there like he's always yelling about Metro Transit.
Well, I'll tell you. Listen, let me tell you something. Let me change the story then.
All right.
You talk about doctors going on strike in the middle of. Remember White Juan?
Yes.
Remember the giant blizzard? I didn't have power for 14 days.
Yeah, we were
no power.
12 days at my
We were 14 in Cole Harbor, and in the middle of White Juan, because we're I'm divorced, but my kids still live in the same house. We were at the very top of Colby Village, up by Astral Drive School.
Yeah.
So, middle of this White Juan, I mean, the place is just, you remember what it was like. I see this skip shovel coming down our street, like this. And I'm like, why the hell are they plowing our street in the middle of the storm, right? Well, my neighbor was a surgeon. Dr. Shee, great surgeon, by the way. I see him come out of his house. He goes down, climbs up the ladder, holds onto the side of the skip shovel, and they back their way out. So obviously what it was some sort of medical emergency.
Right. And they came to get him.
They came with a skip shovel, and they dug a path, like a single shovel-sized path, down to get him, and he walked out, and they backed up the road, and I guess didn't come home for like 2 or 3 days. He slept at the hospital.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Yeah, well, he's a great surgeon.
Well, yeah, when you're but I mean, that's because it's an essential service.
Yeah.
Metro Transit can't run in those circumstances. That's a circumstance where you can go, okay, Metro Transit, I'll give you this one. When you choose not to run as an essential service, that's retarded. It's like gas stations being like, we're not going to give anyone gas. We're just not going to give you gas.
Yeah, it's different though. That's for profit. Did you go to the new Dartmouth terminal yet?
I haven't been.
It's gorgeous.
I haven't crossed the harbor since I moved.
Well, look what you're missing. You're missing Dartmouth, man.
I love Dartmouth. I am a huge proprietor of Dartmouth. I have an I Heart Dartmouth t-shirt.
Yeah.
I love Dartmouth.
Yeah.
But I can't afford to live there anymore because Metro Transit is that awful.
Well, downtown Dartmouth's going through a big renaissance now with this
King's
Wharf,
Yeah.
and there's another development. And now you've got, of course, you've got 2 by C down there.
I love Dartmouth.
Yeah.
I love Dartmouth. Don't get me wrong. I just can't afford to live there
And
because
Wood
Metro
Monkey?
Transit's awful.
Wooden Monkeys moving to Dartmouth?
Oh,
Not
are
moving.
they?
They're putting another restaurant.
They're franchising.
Yeah, they're moving to the old McCaskill's, which is in
the
Albany Gate.
Terminal.
Yeah, Albany Gate.
And JWD Books moved out there.
Yeah, he
last
moved.
Year, didn't
He
they?
moved way out.
Yeah.
He moved out beside Ralph's strip
wow,
club.
That's
Is he the
I
new
know where that
novelty
is.
adult bookstore?
Well, he's where Wacky Wheatley's used to be.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah, Wacky Wheatley was the first. Remember, Wacky Wheatley was the first discount guy in Halifax.
Yeah, he was the our savings are wacky.
Yeah,
like
and-
he was the wacky wavy inflatable arm
Yeah,
inflatable
yeah,
tube
yeah,
man.
yeah.
And then
He was that guy.
his competitor was Madman McKay. And it was like, Madman became Wacky Wheatley. It's like, is there like a problem in Dartmouth? Like, is there something in the water? It's causing a lot of mental illness.
people losing their minds
Yeah,
and
exactly.
selling things extremely cheap. Yeah,
I'm cutting prices with a straight razor. Okay?
I want to go back to you being a celebrity.
Okay.
You do a lot of charity work.
Yes, I do.
What's your favorite thing you've done this year? The year is almost over.
Yeah.
Let's do a 2012 reach back in your memory.
Okay.
What was your favorite thing that you got to do in all of 2012?
I think my favorite thing was I went over to Corner Brook. I was a guest at Atlanticon, which was the first new convention in Corner Brook, Newfoundland, which was great. I had met a couple of the fellas at Hal-Con, and then I had gone to Sci-Fi on the Rock in St. John's, And then they invited me over as a guest. And what we did was a guy named Jeff and I did a show called Two Fat Nerds. And what it was myself and him just talking for about an hour and 10 minutes, hour 20 minutes. And it was just him and I sitting at a table with the audience and me just telling stories about the movies I've been in and the celebrities I've met and things like that. So it was just this sort of a lot of heckling from the audience, which is fun. That was probably my favorite thing. My second favorite was that I won the Halifamous bar competition from Sugar. Great chocolate bar. They made a Fat Apollo chocolate bar.
Yes.
Down in Sugar.
With potato chips.
Oh, it's amazing. Milk chocolate and potato chips. And you know what? I heard, the fellow that runs Sugar said, I'm going to make this chocolate bar with this in it. And I sort of went, oh, really? Oh, wow. And I was thinking, oh, what the? But then once you taste it, it's like, well, there's a reason you own a candy bar company because you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's their number one seller.
There you go.
And a portion of the proceeds go to the Early Intervention Center for childhood training or childhood education. Sorry, I'm getting the name wrong. Anyway, they're a fantastic group here in town that help children with autism, learning disabilities, things like that. So a really wonderful group. So I was really happy to be able to help them out.
And all people have to do to donate to them is eat candy.
Eat candy or give money directly.
I'm so in.
Or go down to Sugar, buy 100 Fat Apollo bars.
You know what would be really funny and ironic is if it was like juvenile diabetes. Something like that.
Something terrible. Like something that just didn't fit.
I feel like this isn't the right fit, but this is Halifax.
Charity's charity. That's right.
Yeah,
I've seen weirder stuff in this city.
So that's probably a couple of my favorite moments. I mean, it's just great. I mean, the geek and nerd community in Halifax is a great community. It's a wonderful bunch of people. I was on the... it was funny because I was on the Scott Simpson with News 95.7. We had a discussion one time on air about... it was during Pride Week, about parallels between the LGBT community and the geek nerd community. And it was a really interesting discussion we had about inclusiveness. About the geek and nerd community is very inclusive.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you don't walk up and somebody says, oh, you like the wrong Star Trek. Get out of here. Right? You don't hear that. I mean, the closest you've got to any sort of exclusion is Twilight or furries. I mean, that's the...
Those are...
Yeah, they're a bit more... But you know what? Even then, I mean, hey, I love the furries. I love the Twilight people. Good on you. If you've got something you're passionate about that brings you joy, who is it anyone to say you don't deserve to enjoy that? And with LGBT, that community is very inclusive. It's a big tent, and there's a lot of overlap. I have to.
Interesting word, but yeah.
Yeah, well, big tent.
Yeah.
It's funny because I've found I've met more people from the LGBT community in the nerd community than I have in any other group of people, and I think part of it is because of being inclusive about their passions about the nerd and geekiness. They feel more comfortable being themselves and coming out. So I find that really interesting.
Yeah, but it probably wouldn't work the other way. Like being comfortable and being gay wouldn't necessarily be like, now I feel comfortable enough to be a nerd.
That's right. I must express
to admit that I own all of the Harry Potter books.
That's right. Yeah. Mom, Dad, I have a confession.
I came out as a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, I'm a brony. Oh. Get out.
Yeah.
Thank
God, I thought you were going to say you like Twilight.
Yeah, I can put up with you being gay, but Brody, get out.
Yeah. No, but I think you're right. With being someone who grew up going through high school as a nerd, you have strange interests and but the thing about being a nerd is that no one's gonna go out and tell you what you should or shouldn't do while you're in your room playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah. I got away with being a nerd when I was a kid, like in high school, because I also played all the sports.
Yeah.
That's like I was that guy. So nobody asked about my nerdiness.
Yeah,
because they didn't care. They were like, you play on the soccer team, so. You play basketball, you play volleyball.
Yeah, what the other interests or whatever.
People don't care. They're like, it's high school. Yeah. Here's your surface, and this is how we see you.
Yeah. Well,
we don't dig deeper than that.
And it's funny, too, because, I was nerdy in high school. I was the president of the War Games Club, but I was also the vice president of student council. I was the valedictorian. So I was like you, where I was semi-popular on one side, so the nerdiness was more like,
because I was a member of the chess club, and I was like, but nobody gave a shit about that.
Yeah. This guy, editor of the school newspaper, I did for that year. Yeah, no, it's
So
it was funny because I was talking to my son and my daughter about it just the other day, and I was saying that does anyone call anyone a nerd or any of those things as kids? Because they're 12 and 11, they're like, no.
Because it's not a derogatory term anymore.
And the thing is, the kid who doesn't play the video games is the kid that's weird.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't play... You want to come over and play Xbox? Oh, no, I don't play video games. Whoa, whoa, what's going on with this guy? Yeah. You know, there's something going on, so...
Yeah, also, you get to meet a lot of cool people.
Yeah, I try, yeah.
Yeah,
I've been lucky.
I saw on your Facebook page, and I don't know if you have an official word on that, but the guy that played Apollo in Battlestar Galactica...
Richard Hatch. Right there.
He's at the left rib.
Right here. Rib, right over my heart. As it worked out.
Wait a minute.
Doctor Who, one here.
I'm no physician.
I play one on television.
Yeah. But I tell people I am.
But,
yeah, Richard Hatch. Yeah, Richard Hatch. Homeowner. Richard Hatch is coming.
Yes, and you are going to be side by side with him.
Yes, well, I have already met him once. We were at the Sci-Fi on the Rock in St. John's. I hung out with him, and we hit it off right away. And being a guest to the guest, you kind of, it's funny because, I go meet all these people and stuff like that, and I have almost no photographs. I have no autographs. Because when you're hanging out...
Yeah, and you don't want to be a fanboy.
No, you're just... Because you're a guest, they're a guest. You're kind of like, hey,
The only person I got my picture taken with at Hal-Con was John Rhys Davies.
Me too.
And it's because I could not contain myself.
You see, and that's the only person I got my picture taken with. We were at the Stargazer soiree, the cocktail party.
Yeah.
And everybody was getting their picture taken. And I said to myself, you're an idiot if you don't get your picture taken with this guy.
You dumbass.
Well, you're a moron. Like, why wouldn't you?
when you're a guest and someone else is a guest, you're kind of on a peer level.
Yep.
It's a little different, but he is just so on another level that how can you not get a picture? How can you not want to...
Even if the guy wasn't famous, just listen to that guy's voice for 5 minutes and you're just like, can we be friends? Like, can I get your email address? We're going to be pen pals.
Did he feel you up?
He did.
Yeah, he's handsy.
He is.
He's handsy.
He's
everybody I know.
Uncle Bad Touch.
He's funny.
He's like, don't giggle during the photo. You're like, what are you talking about? He's like, giggle. I'm like, oh my god.
He's feeling
me up.
Yeah,
oh my god, John Rhys Davies just appropriately touched me.
Well,
I love it.
I was where my booth was, where I was signing autographs, was right beside him. And I was watching him when he first started getting photos taken with people. He was doing that. It was all girls. Just randomly happened to be all females first coming up.
So you thought it was creepy.
And I was kind of sitting there going, oh man, this is kind of creepy. And then up comes this like 6'4", 300-pound guy, and all of a sudden, and I'm like,
yeah, I'm 6'4", 250 pounds. He didn't even flinch.
He was just a nice guy.
He went for so he's clearly equal opportunity creep. So that's fine.
He was wonderful.
He was awesome, and
it's more like your uncle with Alzheimer's. It's almost not creepy because there's this innocence about him.
Well, it was above the waist. It was out of the bad touch zones. Yeah, and he was a wonderful guy.
Yeah,
he was listen to him
no
talk.
Oh yeah, the stories he told. Yeah. He's just he's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah, in the video I got, I couldn't have got many better quotes.
Yeah,
like when he was shitting on the writers, and he's just like, John, why won't you say the words we have written? He said, when you can write as well as I can improvise, I'll say your words. I was just like, you are the man.
Yeah, he's incredible.
How do you top that?
And we've got, and now, this year coming up in 2013, we've got a great group of guests coming. We've got Sylvester McCoy, who was the 7th Doctor, and is also in The Hobbit.
I know a lot of people were already they're already freaking out about him. All the Doctor Who fans.
Well, you know what? We scored. When you look at the genres, we hit anime because there's a voiceover guy coming. Mm. We hit Star Trek with the Star Trek voicer guy. We hit Star Wars with Billy D. Williams.
Yes, Lando
Who's the voicer guy coming?
It's Harry Kim.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I like him.
I was stoked that I got to talk to Odo and Manuente Reme, who played Ichab on Voyager. And I got him first thing in the morning, too. Yeah. So he was good and hungover.
Yeah.
Which made the interview even better. And he was just like, it feels like a college town. I'm like, you mean drinking town? He's like, well, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of guests fall into that trap. Because what I do during the con is, I guest, very soft G. But I host the Hal-Con which is down at Boston Pizza. So basically what I'm down there entertaining in the bar. And it was funny, the first year we did the Hal-Con I've done other shows at Boston Pizza, so they came on board as a sponsor. It's a sports bar. It's a hardcore sports bar.
Yeah, I know.
Right? And so I came in my Fat Apollo gear, and if you go there are 7 pictures of me hidden. and you could find 7 pictures of Fat Apollo in the bar.
Oh, I'm gonna play that game.
Yeah. So there's 7 photos of me, and I came in. I had my cape and my coat, and there were some sportsy guys sitting at another table, and you could see them like, and then the crowd started coming in of all the people in costume. Totally crowded them out the door. Wow. Time to leave, boys. So yeah,
this isn't your place anymore.
It's going to be a really great convention.
I'm excited, and it's a year away.
Yeah,
and that's the sad
that's hard. Yeah, it's in. And the thing is, it's in November, so it really is a year away.
And you get those people like on the Facebook group yesterday. Catherine Sanders, who's a friend of mine, she actually posted on the Facebook group. It's only 362 days and this many hours away. Already. Just saying, like, because she's a huge Doctor Who fan too.
Yeah.
So like,
that Sylvester McCoy hit was like I didn't know any of the guests. I'm not on the board. I'm not, I don't get to know anything before anybody else gets to know them. So when they showed, they showed the people, and then they showed Sylvester McCoy, and then they showed me, and they said Fat Apollo, and I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then it's like, and the real Apollo, Richard Hatch. I'm like, no way. And I got excited because, like I said, because I hung out with him, and he is a really great guy. He's really just talking to him. He's the sort of guy that he can be in a room of 400 people, and he always seems like he's talking directly to you. And he's got great stories about Battlestar, which are really funny.
Well, I can imagine. I mean, that's a beloved series by a lot of people, right?
Yep.
I want to see you and him having a conversation.
Yes.
And nerding out.
Yeah.
And I would sit and be an audience member in that room.
Yeah, I have something that I have preliminarily flown past the committee. So we'll have to see if it comes to pass or not. But I have an idea about him. But I mean,
Apollo on Apollo.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, it's Apollo squared. Or is it cubed?
Cubed, yeah, size of me. Yeah, cubed. That's right.
Don't let me get fat again.
That's right. Don't let that start.
Yeah, that's excellent. The nerddom has become mainstream.
Yes, it has.
How has that helped you as a celebrity whose focus is basically the geek realm?
Well, it's just more people feel comfortable talking about it. More people are comfortable coming out, and I think that what's funny is all of us that are older nerds and geeks have seen our children come up and become what we were, but in a much more accepting environment.
Yeah.
That again, nobody's putting anybody's head in a toilet because they like Star Wars. If you're wearing a Jar Jar Binks shirt, probably your head's going in the toilet.
You deserve it. Jar Jar Binks is the worst.
You'll be a pariah of the nerd community.
Yeah, you might as well get a Twilight.
Be getting swirly by Star Wars fans.
Well, it's funny. We've got a whole channel devoted to it. What gets me? It's funny because I look at the different groups now, and we've got like as I call them, the anime folks, who I never got into anime. The only anime I got into was Robotech.
Yeah, I watched a few animes. Yeah. I watched like the big ones that you're like, what is the big deal about this? Like Princess Mononoke. And,
any of the Studio Ghibli
Akira
stuff.
And like the big.
Yeah.
Like.
But you can find some gems. I've personally been to Japan twice. So
that's right. Yeah.
I'm embroiled in the culture, but it's totally different. I know some people who are just really into anime. They've seen all of these obscure episodes. They've seen every episode of Naruto, which is like, I don't know, there's like 600 or something ridiculous. Yeah. It's been going on forever.
The Dragon Ball Z era hit Canada there for a while when I was in high school. And that was like the big thing.
But it's a strange niche.
Well, it's funny because it to me. You see, now I have a little bit of insight because my son likes not so much anime as he likes Japanese culture, and he's 12. And it's funny because now I get a bit of an insight to how my parents must have felt with me as a 12-year-old being nuts about Star Wars, like absolutely insane about Star Wars in '76. There was my son. We were in Chapters, and there was a bento box, right, lunchbox, right. And I said, "Hey, Harley, maybe you'd like this." And he looks at the side and he reads the Japanese to me, like he goes da 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 lunchbox da 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 da. And I said, "Well, how you mean lunchbox?" He goes, "No, there's no letter L. It's runch." Right. And he could actually read the sign. I said, Harley. Well, he goes, "Oh yeah, I just learned it. I've been reading it. Picked up a little Japanese." I'm like, "What the hell?"
That's ridiculous.
Kids today.
And the more obscure. Speaking of obscure, at the Hal-Con, I talked to Larry Hama, who was like at this little tiny table, tucked away,
Yeah.
all hidden, and I'm walking by and I'm like, da-da-da. That's Larry Hama.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, you made Wolverine. What,
yeah,
what are you doing here, sitting by yourself?
Yeah, and G.I. Joe.
Yeah. Oh, that was a big one. Yeah, he did that.
And Elektra.
Yeah, he did the G.I. Joe Yo Joe panel,
Wow.
which was hugely. It was packed.
Yeah, and he wrote and directed the CGI G.I. Joe they just did recently, didn't he?
Oh, I'm not sure.
No, I didn't.
I'm pretty sure, but anyway, I was just like, you're Larry frickin' Hama. It blew my mind to figure out that he had no passion for drawing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the
I wanted to be
interview
a
in the
fashion
video.
designer.
I didn't.
It was in the video I made for Hal-Con there.
Yeah,
so.
I was going through it. I didn't pick that up. Sorry.
No, there was like a little snippet there, and I was talking to Larry Hama, and I said, why, like, so it was a hobby as a kid? And he's like, no, like I've always drawn. And I was like, oh, so you just sort of became your profession? He's like, no, I got out of the Navy and
I needed a job.
and my friend was like, come draw comics. I was like, well, I'll do that for a while, and I woke up 40 years later, and I was still doing it. And it was just like, I was like, what? He said, like, you had no passion for it? He's like, I didn't have a passion for it. I wanted to be a fashion designer.
And there are people that would kill to have that job, right? You know what I mean?
I'm like, you created G.I. Joe.
I had a good laugh where you were just like, well, on behalf of all of your fans everywhere, thanks for sticking it out.
I was like, I don't even know what to say to you
Thanks
right
for
now.
sticking it up.
Yeah.
He goes, that's how life goes sometimes. I'm like, I guess it is.
It's kind of depressed to be one of the most world famous comic book comic book creators.
One of the groups that I think I saw you with them too, or that I think is a really unique group at Hal-Con is Maritime Heavy Armor folks.
Yes. Yeah, I got to talk to
Art in the Halo
Art
suit.
Forward in the Master Chief.
Yeah.
And
Joe
Joseph, who was the Death Watch Space Marine, who had run a marathon in that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Those guys, and I use the word guys inclusively because there's lots of girls in it too. It's a great group. They raise money. You talk about doing charity work. They put me to shame, those guys. No. They're fantastic. They do a lot of work with prostate cancer. They do what's called troopings. And the troopings, what they do is they go and they walk up and down the boardwalk. And people take their pictures and they get donations. And the group has grown since the first Hal-Con. What happened was Art showed up in his costume. Scott Acoyne showed up in his Stormtrooper suit. And Joe showed up in his Marine. And, Fred showed up in his Boba Fett. And they didn't know, none of them know each other. They had never met. And then they started gravitating towards each other because, hey, nice costume, nice
how'd you make that?
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't get my thing to do
Talking
that.
shop,
Yeah, and now they're this cohesive group that actually there's tons of people joining and there's tons of people, they're running workshops about how do you make these outfits.
And they were literally recruiting people that had made their own that had no idea that it existed.
Well, you saw that too.
There was a guy, like the guy in the Mass Effect.
Yep.
Mass Effect. He made his own gun.
Yep.
He pieced together a gun with a scope and a sight and a red dot and everything.
Yep.
Like, no joke. This guy he'd never heard of Maritime Heavy Armor. And they were like, you want to join? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So now, like, he's got a community that.
Yeah, it's a social group, and
with the internet, this con is essentially what's going on the internet on a smaller scale, where you can always find somebody who's interested in whatever weird thing that you.
Well,
like.
it's interesting because you see, there's a group called the 501, which are the Stormtrooper Star Wars people that have chapters all around the world and stuff, but they're very. You have to pass inspection to get in. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because they want to make sure that you're not showing up with like bed sheets like me, bed sheets and stuff like that. But they're more we're going to be exact to the movie. You have to be. And the folks with Maritime Heavy Armor are more, you're making your own, and they still look fantastic. I mean, Art's Halo armor is incredible.
I actually had a moment where I was like, I ran out of words. Yeah. I was like, and I edited out of the video. I was like, really? Like, you made this yourself? I don't even understand.
And when you look at Joe's Marine is incredible. And it's all handmade. Every part of that is handmade.
It baffles me.
Yeah. And the funny thing about Art plays the Master Chief. And Art in real life is a Chief Petty Officer First Class in the Navy, which is the Canadian equivalent to a Master Chief. Which is really funny when you think about it. That you don't expect the guy in the suit to be a senior non-commissioned officer.
I asked him about that too, and he actually said, Yeah. I don't tell people that.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
No, I didn't feel comfortable leaving it in the video, so I left it out of the video.
Well, it's funny because Art was saying that he wanted to keep it a secret, and then it kind of fell apart. It's not something we scream to the heavens, but he does a lot of good work. He visits kids in hospitals. He does amazing stuff with that suit. It's really quite incredible what he does.
Yeah, and he doesn't want it. He doesn't want to associate that with what he does as professional life.
No, of course not. Of course not.
I mean,
there's still people that don't get the separation between the two.
Yeah, it's like, well, you're a naval officer, you shouldn't be doing that crap. It's like, no, I'm a human being. That is, I go to work and I'm a naval officer, and if I need to go to war, I'll go.
Yeah.
And I leave the Master Chief suit at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like he takes it to work and wears it
runs
to work.
runs around
like,
Marcom wearing a Master Chief suit. Yeah.
NATO war games, he's like, I'll take care of this.
Yeah. Like, getting deployed, all you'll need is me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Deployment of one.
Running gun.
Yeah. But let's take a quick break. I need to refresh my drink.
Sure.
We've been talking for over half an hour.
All right.
If you have any questions you want to ask Fat Apollo, tweet them to us. Write them on Facebook. For those of you watching live, and we'll be back after this short break.
You want your special day to be just right, right? Well, so did I. I called A2 Canada, and all the little details took care of themselves. An audio-video setup, photographer, and even a videographer, all working as a team to capture the memories I cared about. Oh, and I saved a bundle by getting them all in the same place. You should try it.
A2 Canada. Professionalism you can count on.
Oasis, epic sports pub, where you don't have to spend a lot to get a lot.
What happened to Oasis? Or do you want to use it for the air?
Sure, I'll just... Yeah, we could use it coming out.
Oasis is a sponsor, right? So.
Oh, it's a good story.
Okay, good.
It's not a I hate the place, etc., etc. It's a good, funny story about the Oasis.
That's good.
I used to go there a ton of times.
Yeah. So just to let you know that for those of you watching, yes, we are still live. You can chill with us. We're still on break, so we're not quite going yet.
I'm checking my phone. That's what I'm doing. Oh my gosh! The other day, do you watch Torchwood?
No, you know what? I'm not a Doctor Who person yet. I haven't got into it because there's too much other stuff.
Bit of Torchwood.
Yeah,
I'm more of a Doctor Who.
You see, I watch Torchwood because of Captain Jack. John Barrowman he just blows my mind. I love that guy. The other night, it was election night, he's at this bar in the States somewhere, and he's mad because they've switched all the TVs away from the election to a basketball game. And he's pissed off. And he's like, I can't believe this. This is wrong. And so he gets on Twitter, and he says, hey, I'm at this bar called X. Here's their phone number. Why don't you call them and ask them why they're not showing the election results? So anyway, about 15 minutes pass, and suddenly in all caps comes back, says, stop calling the bar. Right? Stop asking for me. Because what happened was people all over the world were calling this bar and saying, can I talk to John Barrowman, please? and so he tweets out later, he goes, yeah, that didn't work. He goes, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. Misusing your powers only brings you pain and suffering. That poor bartender, too.
I know.
The phone, all of a sudden, the line just shuts down.
Yeah. John Barrowman. Sorry, I can't take debit. Someone's on the phone. See, I'd like to get him here.
That would be great.
He's hilarious. That guy's a hoot.
I don't think that would be much of a stretch.
I want to get Nathan Fillion.
Yeah. I got to meet Nathan Fillion at the Edmonton Fringe Festival.
Oh yeah.
Just a quick handshake and a very short exchange, but nicest guy ever. Nicest guy in the world.
Did you see the first Hal-Con when we were doing Geeks Versus Nerds? And it was us, it's online, and it was us, I was Han Solo with two other fellas, and the other side was Malcolm Reynolds, who's the best rogue smuggler.
Space cowboy.
Yeah, so I was arguing on the side of Han, and we were winning. And then the fella that was on the other side, his name was PJ, he's personal friends with Nathan, quite close friends.
I remember.
And so anyway, so all of a sudden the phone rings. Suddenly I knew it was going to happen, but we had to play like we didn't know. The phone rings on the desk, and it's Nathan Fillion calling in to debate. So anyway, so he's on the phone going on about why Malcolm's better and stuff like that. So they're like, well, would you like to rebut? Pig Monkey says, do you want to rebut? And I'm like, yeah, I'll rebut. And I said, yeah, Nathan, I said, you're a great guy. Everybody knows you're a super guy. And Malcolm's pretty good. And I said, but your ship's a piece of shit. Right? And so the crowd goes insane. And he goes, what? What did you say? And I said, your ship's a piece of shit. And he laughs. And he goes, and he goes, and the Millennium Falcon isn't? Like, so,
Zing.
Oh, he was good.
He's
very funny guy.
I follow his tweets. He is ridiculous.
He's funny ridiculous. Guy. He's one of those guys that you think, you know what, it would be fun to hang out with that guy. You know?
Watch more Firefly.
Yes, she hasn't seen the series.
It's a great series.
We're at episode 6 or 5 or 6 or something.
It's a great show.
I'm making her watch it. Like,
yeah, and you obviously
it was a hard sell either.
No.
You haven't seen Serenity yet, obviously.
No, I didn't. You didn't see Serenity.
No, I'm gonna watch it after.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I first saw Serenity.
Me too.
And then I was like, wow. And then somebody was like, that was from a series. And I was like, what? A canceled Fox series? I'm like, every series is a canceled Fox series. There was it doesn't matter. Terra Nova.
Yeah, Terra Nova.
I love that show.
Gone.
Didn't last long.
And one season.
Yeah.
And it was so good, and it left you this big cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Oh, did they? I haven't finished watching it yet.
They left this big cliffhanger because, like, a lot of really crazy shit happens, and it's answered a lot of questions, but then it was just like, more questions.
Revolution is good. I like Revolution. Revolution is about the world's lost power. So everybody's gone back to a feudal state.
That's not Fox, though, is it?
No, that's NBC.
Yeah, that's what it's
and
called.
Also, Space has got that Falling Sky series.
I love Falling Sky.
I've heard good things about the Falling Skies.
Yeah, but it's on Space.
Yeah.
TV series. It's a good series. That's more of a hardcore sci-fi with the Striders.
I've seen the whole first season.
Oh, have you?
And half of the second season.
Oh, okay, I'm just working on it as Space releases it, so I'm only up to he's just gotten his son out of the hospital.
Oh, and like
unbridled him.
Yeah. They took his harness off.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a wicked series.
Yeah, I like it. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm in the middle of the second season right now.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
I'll have to check something out. I've been looking for
on
new
Netflix,
television.
Right? So it's tough because I have Netflix now, so like
just burn through everything.
The urge to download stuff has gone away.
Yeah.
So now we're literally just watching what's on Netflix.
See, I just canceled my Netflix because my Apple TV broke. So
I have an Xbox 360 and a PS3.
Yeah.
And
my kid's got the PS3.
Plus, I got the computer, my iPhone.
I was so spoiled with the little Apple TV because I used it as a media bridge too. That I had a computer set up just to bridge to it that was loaded with media.
Yeah, and that's I have my laptop. I can AirPlay.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
but suddenly, I mean, the thing is, the Apple TV solid state, and all of a sudden it gave up the ghost, which made no sense. It wasn't overheating, and the display went, and it wasn't making any sense to me.
Did you take it to Apple?
I haven't gone. It's still within a year.
Yeah.
I don't have the receipt though.
Apple Store being like, "Give me back Netflix."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have the receipt though, but they still should be good because they track them by their
serial
number. Yeah. But you know what? They're almost kind of disposable because they're less than $100.
No, they're $130 for the newest version.
No, yeah, but the newest one's got a hard drive, which doesn't make any sense in Canada. The one I've got is the small little cigarette package size one that was $99. The little black one that's that big.
Yeah, the Apple TV 2.
Yeah. The 3 doesn't make sense for me because I don't need a hard drive.
You know what I want is I want a Mac Mini.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because then I have an Airport Extreme.
Yeah.
I have an Airport Express in the studio.
Yeah.
I have I'm pro Apple.
Yeah.
I own an iMac mostly just for film and photo editing and things like that, but I have not yet gone into the Mac store just for fear
I haven't been there yet,
breaking myself.
Oh yeah, no, it's like what Radio Shack used to be.
Yeah.
Like you walk in there and you're just like, I can't afford you. I'm just gonna drool on you a little bit. Yeah.
It's just too much stress.
Oh wait, yeah, are we ready? Yeah, we can be back. Why not?
Sure.
We're back. Hi.
Hello.
We're back with Fat Apollo, real Fat Apollo on Twitter.
Real Fat Apollo.
On Twitter.
On Twitter, correct. Yes.
Real
Fat Apollo was taken. Can you believe that?
What?
How dare someone?
I know, right? It's better to be the real Fat Apollo. Also on Twitter is Pat King HFX, Mark Adam HFX, and our controller Emily Jewer is still MJ_979.
Underscore 979.
I think we've picked on her every week about
every
that.
single week, and she refuses to change it. So good on her for sticking to her guns. But come on now, real
MJ or
words.
HFX.
Real words.
That's like the old days. Well, maybe you guys are too young, but when I started on the internet,
Back in
my day, when you joined, it was CompuServe, AOL, and Prodigy. And if you got Prodigy, your email address was literally 19KTF3374079 So it was like 16 random digits. You weren't allowed to pick a name. You weren't allowed to pick anything. So it was 16 random digits. But hey, I heard that the Oasis is one of your sponsors.
They are.
Yes, I have a funny story about the Oasis.
Yes.
May I proceed?
Yes, you may.
All right, so I'm at the Oasis one night. I like the Oasis. I really do, actually. I haven't been there in a while.
I'm the general manager there.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, fact.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, holy crap. Okay.
I
You
prop
want
up
to
the
do
bar.
Geeks Versus Nerds? Bring it down.
We should. That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we hosted a prostate cancer fundraiser there a couple of weeks back, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time.
I have to talk to Pig Monkey. He's the guy. I'm just
I
talent.
I know Andrew very well.
I'm just talent.
Just a pretty face.
So anyway, I'm at Oasis, right? And I'm down there, and I love shuffleboard because I'm an old Navy guy. I love friggin' shuffleboard. So I'm getting ready to play shuffleboard. So I'm there, and there's those little side tables. So I got a beer and I go and I put my beer down, and I go and I start working the board, and all of a sudden I hear smashed, and I turn around, and my beer's on the ground, smashed, and I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, okay, so I go and I pick up the glass, and I put it, I take up the bar, and I said, look, I said, I'm sorry, I said, I must have put it too close to the edge. And it fell off. I said, can I have another beer, please? So I buy another beer, and I'm like, okay. So I go, put my beer on the table. I turn around, smash. And I'm like, okay. And now the bartender's coming out from behind the bar.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on with this guy, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on here. And I'm looking around thinking somebody's
being a jerk.
Yeah, right?
And you're like, I'm not drunk.
Right, and I'm not yet.
Not
So
for
anyway,
lack of
so
trying.
I'm like, okay, so I start picking up the pieces. And I pick up the base, and I put it on the table. And as I'm picking up the other piece, I see it going like this.
Because it's got the
wax. It's got
wax.
the shuffleboard wax all over the table, and the table's uneven. So you put a beer on it, it just goes zoom right off the end. And so the bartender's watching me, and he sees it going, and I look at him and I go, and it slides, and he goes,
Yeah,
it's like, all right, we all understand now.
Mystery solved.
Not kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, not my fault.
Exactly. But that was weird.
No, the Oasis is one of those places where I don't think you can go there and have a bad time unless you're trying to.
Yeah, I like it there.
Yeah.
I do like it there.
Like, it's just so laid back. There's a lot of places like that in Halifax.
Yeah, Beerley's is another favorite. I haven't been there in ages.
But I mean, Beerley's is you can have a bad time there by running into the wrong people.
That's,
You know what I mean? That happens.
The same can be said for any bar.
Yeah, I suppose. It's just, I find the Oasis is so, like, it's so big inside that even if the wrong people are there,
Just go
running
the
into
other
them
side.
is difficult.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? If you don't have, there is no run-in. Like,
A very loyal client base at the Oasis, too, I think.
I worked with the fellow that did all the painting in there.
Brian Atkinson.
Yeah, I worked with him at Minix.
Yeah, I worked at Minix with you as well.
I remember. Yeah.
Marshy.
Yeah, Marshy, back in the old days. Oh, Minix.
I was A. Littles.
We had to have fake names.
Fake last names.
So I ended up with Mike Marshy. And I looked it up on Google. There's not a single Michael Marshy in North America. So you'd hear me taking orders with people, and people would be saying, oh, and what's your name? Because they want to write your name down. And I'm like, Marshy. And so you'd hear me go, Marshy, like the swamp. And that's what I kept saying, like, over and over again. Marshy, like the swamp. And you see, that's how I know people from. Because I've had all these different careers. When people come up,
Marshy.
When people come, go Marshy. I'm like, I worked with you at Minix. Yeah, but Brian's a good guy.
He's at register.com, I think, right now.
Yeah, I was about to say he's not there anymore. But yeah, because I didn't know that. Because what happened one day was I was booting down Spring Garden, and it was just torrential years and years and years ago. So I'm like, just happened to be by the Oasis. I'm like, go in have a couple beer. And I went down. He was sitting there, and I knew him from work, but we didn't really hang out. And so I just sat with him, and we talked for a while. And then the paintings came up, and he said, yeah, I did all those. So at first I thought he was Just
he actually painted all those.
And he did. He said, "Yeah, I do them all." And I'm like, "Wow!"
And they used to years ago. They don't do it anymore, but they used to say it like there's all these like caricatures all the way around the top.
Yeah.
And the bartenders used to say, if you can go around and name each one of them without getting one wrong, we'll give you a free beer.
Oh yeah.
And I think he goes, how many free beers did you give out? Like that sounds like you'd be giving it a lot. He goes,
None.
5.
Wow.
It is tough because
it's hard. There's a lot of them.
And there's some obscure ones that
there's some very obscure.
Yeah, if you're not into like a lot of culture and history and stuff, you're like Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah,
he's like Hitler.
Young Hitler.
Yeah. It's like no Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, it's like the Indiana Jones adventures. Young Hitler.
There's some that like there's Audrey Hepburn's up there.
And
there's Scooby Doo. There's Snoopy's up there.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Stephen Urkel.
Urkel.
Urkel. That'd be a hard one, too.
You never did anything for me.
No.
Yeah, people are like, is that alfalfa?
Alfalfa, you're out. Like, no beer for you.
First of all, the guy's black. It's not alfalfa. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah. Wait, who was the black kid from the Little
Buckwheat.
Rascals?
Buckwheat.
Oh, Tay.
I still love that.
Eddie Murphy used to do that, remember?
Oh, Tay.
And they did the thing on Saturday Night Live where Buckwheat has been shot. They reenacted the whole Ronald Reagan getting shot through the SNL, and it was him coming out to. He's coming out to the car, and it's like, Mr. Buckwheat! And he goes, okay! And they load him in the car.
Oh, wow.
And they had breaking news through the whole thing. Buckwheat has been shot.
That's fantastic.
It's the golden age of SNL.
SNL, yeah, old days.
Yeah, no, good times. So you were in the military.
Yes, I was. Indeed, I was. Yes.
Tell us about that.
Oh my!
Basically, give us the details, as in like length of time.
16 years. Started as an ordinary seaman stoker.
So
engineering,
Navy, clearly.
Yeah, engineering, and ended up as a Lieutenant Commander Mars. So it became Mars, and Mars is maritime surface, subsurface. So those are your ship drivers. So yeah, I ended up there. So it was a good time. I enjoyed the Navy.
Yeah, my father retired as a P1.
Oh, right on.
He was a telecommunications officer.
Oh yeah.
So he retired as a POTEL.
POTEL.
That's what they used to, the slang on the ship.
POTEL.
The POTS. They used to call them.
Yeah.
My uncle went on a Independence Day cruise with my other uncle, who was also a POTEL.
Yeah.
On the Montreal at the time, and so my uncle Doug, who's not in the military, went on Independence Day, and he got all the guys on the ship calling my other uncle, who was in the Navy, POTEL, their boss essentially. They got him calling him Putz. That lasted for all of 3 seconds.
Putz.
The first time somebody said, "Sure thing, Putz," he's like, "I'm sorry."
Back of the hand.
Stop. No.
Yeah.
No.
That stopped real quick.
I was serving in HMCS Chignecto, which was an old minesweeper on the West Coast, and it's wooden, and they used them for officer training. And we had a Independence Day cruise, and I didn't have any dependencies on the West Coast. And the ship's full of people, and things are going on, and we're doing what are called officer watch maneuvers, where you're moving the ships around almost like planes in formation, and it's to practice maneuvering your ships. And it's a lot of fun, actually. It's very exciting. And I decide I gotta go use the bathroom. So I go in the heads, and I'm sitting in the heads, and all of a sudden, bong, 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 fire, 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 fire in the generator room, fire, 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 fire in the generator room. And I'm like, whoa, well, first of all, fire in a wooden ship. Second of all, Dependence Days, all that stuff like that, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm sitting on a toilet. And the generator room is one deck below where I am, exactly under. I'm sitting directly on top of it.
So did you kick a hole in the floor and pee on it?
Well, what I did was you're supposed to grab any firefighting equipment you can and run to the proceed to the muster point. So I jump up, and I'm in Dunk's Diner, which is where the young officers live. So I grab these 2 breathing devices called Chemoxes, and I come running down the outside the gate, and my pants fall down around my ankles because I haven't secured. I'm like, I'm running down. So anyway, it turned out just to be not a false alarm, but it was a little piece of cloth that caught on fire. But we had all the dependents all forward of the ship, all up at the forepeak, and
hey, that's a good drill.
Exciting.
Though.
Oh, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Good drill. Good drill. Right on. By the way, we just got noticed that my mom says hi. So hi to my mom.
Hello.
Who, by the way, says hello at least once an episode.
Oh, right on.
She tends to ask a lot of questions.
One episode she actually didn't say hi. We got worried about her.
We did, because she had gone to my sister's for supper or something and wasn't watching live. And we were nervous and called her and didn't get an answer. And I'm like, Mom, it wasn't a good scene. So hi, Mom. I'm glad that you're alive. I'm glad things are well. If she's saying hi, then things are good. So she also, I'm pretty sure she watched the video with you in it. So
yes.
She knows who you are now.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you.
As a result of last week's video.
Yeah.
So that's good times. And my dad, like I said, is in the Navy, and well, he's retired now.
Yeah.
He's still doing stuff with the reserves.
Oh yeah, down at Scotian. Yeah, my buddy is the commanding officer down there.
What's his name?
Commander Vallis.
Commander Vallis. There you go.
Yep.
Who my dad probably works with.
Yeah, he's a great guy, Derek.
Every week.
Yeah, he's a very nice guy.
Yeah. So clearly my dad's last name is Lardner, same as mine.
Yes, of course.
So yeah, good times. Very fun. I hope that wasn't a secret that I needed to keep for national security.
We'll be like that stinking sub-lieutenant who gave the spy secrets to the Russians. Yeah. Idiot.
Yeah, and he sold wasn't it really stupid? Like he sold literally stuff that was useless.
Yeah, well but
he just gave them a bunch of information that was useless.
Well, apparently it was a little more complicated than that too. He said that he had received an email one day from one of his Russian
about something about his family.
It was just a photo of his daughter leaving school.
See, that's it.
That would be the end.
See, once they get their hooks in, they don't care. You see, they don't care because it's a win-win for them. If they get caught, nothing's going to happen to them. Like the Russians got caught. We were selling them secrets. Probably had something to do with the Arctic, right? He sells them some garbage secrets, and they get a guy that maybe, on the off chance, might someday
see something,
blunder into something. You know, and that happens in the Navy where suddenly, a friend of mine once, he got this parcel, and he's like, what the heck's this? And he cuts it open. It was full of all these computer disks and stuff that he wasn't supposed to see, but it had been addressed to him. He's like, I don't think I'm supposed to have this. Yeah. And it wasn't anything like earth-shattering.
I feel like I need to be debriefed.
Yeah. But what it is they get their hooks into a guy, and so it's come out that he was a spy, and what happened to the Russians? Nothing. Nothing. So for them, they're like, sure, we'll flip you $10,000. Maybe you can come up with something, maybe you can't.
Yeah, and it was wasn't it $3,000 a month?
Yeah.
A while.
And they're running a no-risk situation.
Absolutely zero.
Yeah, he's worried about his family and his...
They're balls deep in him, and they're not catching anything. Oh, yeah.
It's some guy is sitting, he's getting some KGB guy is getting his yearly review. Well done, Boris. You turned 3 naval officers. That was your stretch goal. You get extra ladder, like that, right?
We expect you to turn 2.
2, you do 3. Well done. You
get a star on the board.
Yeah.
But
come on, buddy.
I joined in the I joined in '82 when it was still the Cold War, and that and it was taken,
the Cold War.
The Cold War. But I say that,
every war in Canada is cold.
Cold. But they took it very seriously. It was like there was a lot of briefings about. Don't talk to these people. Be careful about this. Don't strike up friendships. And even, you think about nowadays with the internet and your reach across the world.
How easy it is to go, here's this piece of information that no one should ever see.
Yep.
Copy paste.
Fling.
Yeah.
Copy paste send.
Off to literally Australia.
Yep.
The opposite side of the planet.
And look who just, the head of the CIA just lost his job because he was shagging his biographer.
I did not know that.
Did you not know that? General Petraeus, he just lost his job. He had to resign.
Yeah, that was big news.
Wow.
I have a confession to make, and you saw it on Facebook, that in fact I did have sex with my autobiographer. So I admit that now. I do in fact admit that.
I shook your hand today. Which one?
This is my writing hand.
Oh.
But no, that just shows you. But what's come out now is it looks like he got turned, and he didn't get turned because he was having an affair with this biographer. What happened was she got jealous because he was also with someone else, and she went in and accessed his account from his laptop and sent her a threatening note. Oh. So this is how it's all come together, where what happened was they came back and said, it's not because you had an affair, but what it was is someone other than him accessed his email.
Because he became compromised.
Yeah, that's right. It's not just an affair. Oh my God, it wasn't just an affair.
Man, the world's a fucked up place that this shit's still happening.
Yep. Well, listen, they're people.
I just saw. Did you see the movie? Fuck, I just saw it.
Come on.
With Ben Affleck.
Argo.
Yeah.
What a good fucking movie.
I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to see it.
I've really been meaning to. There's a lot of great movies out.
I want a shirt from them.
Really?
It says, the movie was fake, the story isn't. Oh, nice shirt.
No, literally, and it was funny because they're like, the movie made it seem like it was all the United States and that Canadians had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And it was just like...
American movie.
That's very stereotypically the American attitude. U-571, for instance.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Enigma machine.
The Enigma machine. Like, at the end of it, they showed like all the Allied ships that every one of them is like HMS. There isn't a single USS in there. I wonder how that happened.
Yeah.
I wonder why the United States... Because factually, it never happened. The United States had nothing to do ever with capturing a German Enigma machine.
No.
Ever.
Well, my dad served...
It was all British.
My dad served on the Corvettes during World War II, and he was in from 39 to 45, so he was hardcore. So he did the whole thing, and the only time his Corvette sank a sub, he was ashore. So he missed... Oh. But the funny thing is, his claim to fame was that the Germans wore his clothes. That he wasn't on board, but his clothes were, so the crew gave the Germans his clothes. So he came back on board. He's like, "Where's my clothes?" We gave them to the Germans. So my dad clothed the enemy, I guess.
I leave for 1 day.
Yeah. I took 1 week of leave to go have sex.
And now everything's gone.
Yeah, you give all my stuff to the enemy.
Yeah, I'm assuming that, somewhere in there, your parents or something were born, so then it was good for you.
Oh, for me, my parents were born before I was born.
No, I'm just saying, that might have been the leave time he took.
Oh, I see. Happened. Oh, yeah, I was thinking you were like Back to the Futuring me.
No. No, sorry, Mr. McFly.
I like how that's a verb now.
Yeah, you're
back to the futuring me?
Are you back to the futuring me? The photos are all fading. I'm feeling weak.
No, a lot of people have like this really poor view of the Canadian military. But in all honesty, like, whenever you read they do reviews of what's the strongest army by number of people, what's the biggest army, what's this, that. The reports I keep reading is that the Canadian Army is rated the best trained troops.
But you know what it is? Who has a bad opinion of the Canadian military are Canadians that have nothing to do with the military.
You are
the rest of the world doesn't.
I had somebody say recently, when's the Canadian Army ever swayed a war? And I'm sitting there, I go, World War One? And sitting next to me goes, World War II?
Greg Giraldo?
Who's that?
Greg Giraldo on Just for Laughs.
Yeah.
Well, what is the Canadian Army ever swayed a war?
Like all of them?
Yeah,
well,
literally.
You know what that reminds me of, though? It's just ignorance. You see, we in Halifax and Victoria, we're around the military all the time.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, remember when the free trade agreement was signed?
Yeah.
Way back then, I had a huge arguments about that with people, and I had a guy from Central Canada say to me, "Why do you guys in Nova Scotia care about NAFTA with textiles? You don't have anything to do with textiles in Nova Scotia." And I'm like, Sanford...
We're like the biggest port in the country.
But I'm talking about Stanfield underwear. Like, I'm saying, Stanfield underwear? And they're like, yeah. I said, it's made in Nova Scotia? Yeah. And they're like, oh, didn't know that. Yeah, that's why you don't give a rip about NAFTA, because you don't know enough to give a rip about NAFTA.
And we have the largest port in the world. The largest natural harbor.
Yeah. Ice-free port, yep. Yeah, the basin makes a huge...
Wow.
It's the largest natural port in the world. Largest natural harbor, but it's a huge shipping port.
Oh, yeah.
Everything, like all those drugs that end up in Montreal for the fucking
they all come through
Hell's Angels that used to happen all the time. Not so much anymore. They kind of got squished there for a while. But yeah, that all used to come through Halifax. It was a big deal.
Well, it's interesting now with the ice cap melting. They're talking about Churchill becoming a big shipping point now. Because what you'll be able to do is literally come across the top and come down Hudson Bay and drop gear there. And if you've got a railhead, you just run straight down into the States. You don't make this circuitous route.
This is assuming that the ice caps melt enough that that's a viable option.
Well, I mean, they're down so much now. You can come into Churchill no sweat.
Really?
Oh yeah. Look at the pictures of how small that ice cap is now.
That's interesting.
Yeah, seriously, biggest ice cap in Canada is going to be at Tim Hortons in a couple of years. Those friggin' ice cap drinks. That'll be the biggest one they got. There'll be polar bears living on each one. We're going to have to breed the polar bears tiny, and they'll live on the ice caps.
Teacup.
Well, you see, I thought a good idea would be if somebody could breed bonsai beef, little tiny cows, And what you could do is you could have them in a restaurant, like a lobster tank.
Yeah, like
so when you're having a steak, you can have that one. I want that one. He gave me a dirty look. Yeah, I want that one.
It's a fresh steak.
I'm serious.
How do you want it bloody?
That said, cows are stupid. I don't think they give people dirty looks. They're not smart enough to do that.
You see, that's what
I worked out in Edmonton for a year in Alberta. I hate cows now. Why? We were doing pipeline location, and we would have to go across these huge fields. I've never seen so much barbed wire in my life.
Oh, yeah.
And these cows, just all they do is moo and poop and run, and they're just constantly scared. They've only got one...
People try to eat them. I'd be constantly pooping and running if someone was trying to eat me.
It's like chickens. They're not...
I'd be working.
They're not free range.
Yeah. I'd be locating this pipeline, and then I'd turn around, and it was like Children of the Corn, and there'd be 24 cows just staring at me. And the second I make any movement towards them, they all poop and run.
Poop and run.
They poop and run. Sometimes at the same
drop
time.
and roll.
They shit themselves and take off.
Exactly. So you're constantly stepping in it.
Always.
Oh.
That smells fantastic.
Well, that's like during the Falklands War, eh? Down
Falkland Islands, yeah.
Yeah, down there. There's a lot of penguins down in that area, eh? And the guys were flying their jets around, and they noticed that whenever they flew by all these masses of penguins, the penguins would watch them. Like, you'd see all the heads turn at once, right? So Buddy's flying the jet back and forth, and he's watching them look at him. So he flies away, and he turns around, and he comes back, and he comes right at them over their heads. And he said the penguins all went like this, and then like dominoes. All these thousands of penguins fell down because they leaned all the way back to watch the jet go over. And they all went, blah, 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 blah. So it was all white bellies. Like that, eh?
Wow. That's fantastic.
If it's not, you know what, if the story's not true, it's still awesome.
Exactly.
It's still an awesome
I don't
story.
care if it's true or not.
You can't make something like that.
How do you make... I'm going to make up a story about penguins.
I do love penguins.
Yeah,
They do look like dominoes. That would be a thing that you would think of.
Penguins.
They do look very much like dominoes.
But every one of them is one.
That's why you always win. First domino, I win. That's right.
That's good times.
I love them. The penguins are great. I went to a really large aquarium, a zoo in Japan that had dozens upon dozens of penguins, and I saw polar bears and a panda bear.
Oh, panda.
Three of them. Yeah, that's... It was very interesting. There's not many places in the world where you can go to.
No, I was going to say pandas aren't indigenous to Japan, are they?
No, Chinese.
Yeah.
But they bred them there, so they had nearly half a dozen.
Do you know when they're born, they're like this big?
Yep, I saw a baby one.
Did you?
You can hold them in your hand.
Yeah, like teacup poodles.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. I don't like small dogs. Fully grown dogs that I can punt over a fence. It's not a dog.
My mother collects chihuahuas.
Oh my god! Really?
Why does she think that they're rats and she's rehabilitating them?
I call them rats. Here, rat dogs. Stop calling my dogs rat dogs. Well, then stop breeding rats.
Yeah, like it's only a dog because it'll eat dog food. That's
like this thing. I mean, it's tiny. You can hold it in one hand. And it's afraid of everything.
Oh, they shiver like this.
They shake.
You think they're shaking because they're cold? They're just terrified of
everything.
Oxygen.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They have a symbiotic relationship with cows. Like, if you look close, you can see the chihuahuas riding the cows to safety because they're both terrified. The chihuahua acts like an early warning system because it shakes like this. The cow, let's get out of here. The truth. When I was growing up,
That's the truth.
It's the truth. When I was growing up, I had a monkey. I had a squirrel monkey. From when I was 5 years old till I was 12 years old.
Are you kidding?
No, not a word of a lie. It's a true story. We had a squirrel monkey in North End, Dartmouth, a squirrel monkey. So we used to have guinea pigs too. And the guinea pigs used to be, we had the cage with the monkey in it, Joey the monkey, and on top of the cage were guinea pigs. And the monkey hated these freaking because guinea pigs just poop and squeak. Then beep, 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 beep. They don't stop. Beep, 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 beep. Right? So anyway, so this monkey, he'd get out of the cage, he would go up, and he'd lay a beating on the going in the cage at the guinea pigs like this because he hated them so much.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And the monkeys freak you out, eh? Because when they grab you, they got little hands. So it's this little hand grabbing you. It's this tiny little hand grabbing you. And he had fingers. He was a squirrel monkey. He's the monkey that's on the TELUS commercials with the raccoon eyes.
Right.
And so the hands come down, and they've got these pads on the bottom of them. It's like they almost look like they're not. Yeah, they're not suckers, but they're like And so he can. So anyway, so we used to have in the backyard. My dad took a pear tree and put chicken wire all around the tree. And we take the monkey and put him in there, and he could run around the tree. And he killed it in 1 year because he ate the bark. He peeled the bark. He totally denuded the tree. And he always used to get out. He'd get out of this cage, so he'd be loose in our backyard. So people be calling our house going, bring me, hello, yeah, your monkey's loose. Okay, thanks. I think the only call. So we had a guy that lived with us. A kid would come and spend after school with me. He's my best friend, Wendell. And the monkey hated him. We don't know why, but he hated Wendell.
Spiteful monkey.
Oh, monkeys are spiteful. They got long memories. Yeah. So what we used to do was, the way we'd get the monkey back is we'd say, hey, Wendell, we're going to the backyard. Let's go in the backyard. Yay. So Wendell would go at the door first, and then we'd slam the door. And Wendell's like, hey, oh my God, the monkey's out here, he'd say. And so the monkey would come for him. Like, the monkey would see him and come for him, and he would knuckle onto him, and we'd just grab Wendell and haul him into the house, and the monkey would be attached to him. Seriously, and the monkey has sharp little teeth, eh? When he bit you, man, you knew he bit you.
Vicious little thing.
Yeah, he lived about 6 years, and he died of a heart attack.
Wow.
Yeah, right in front of us.
Is that typical?
I have no
monkey lifespan.
Well, they were saying that squirrel monkeys typically only live like a year or two in captivity, and it turned out in the final year, it was a female. Huh. Which was really rare.
It was
Jolene. But it was really, really rare to have a female in captivity. We didn't know, because you're not going to, sex the monkey. Which sex are you? I thought it was a male, because the guy said his name was Joey.
Huh. That's very interesting. I love animals, and especially strange animals. Having exotic animals.
Oh, the monkey's strange.
I'm okay with the normal animals. I got my little
ocelot over there.
Well, he's a Bengal.
Bengal tiger.
Yeah, purebred Bengal.
I can tell it's a beautiful cat.
Yeah, he's also not little.
So you know what? You know what the monkey ate? Guess what the monkey ate?
His own feces.
Well, that goes to say, actually, there is Purina monkey chow.
Purina monkey chow.
Purina monkey chow, and what it is, it looks like a little piece of lava.
Where in Dartmouth did you buy this?
I have no idea, because I was just a kid. But it was Purina monkey chow. And it had a picture of a monkey shoving a piece of this stuff in its mouth on the front. And what it was like a piece of pumice stone. And what the monkey would do is it would dip it in the water and get it soft, and then eat it. And we would give it fruit and vegetables and stuff. But this was the stuff you would just keep in a bowl that when it was hungry. And then every Christmas we'd give it wine and get it drunk.
That's why it looks so long.
I think so. Some monkey would be literally on the bar, and he'd be going... and he'd fall over.
Getting a monkey drunk. I thought I had fun nights.
No, our house was always rocking. Always rocking.
Yeah, no, it's just all you gotta do is avoid, giving the monkey car keys, and you're good.
That's right. No driving.
They're almost too smart for their own good. It always freaks me out.
They're a little...
I saw a chimpanzee at this same animal enclosure with the panda, and I had a good laugh. My mother wakes up and knocks on the glass, and he gets up and walks over to her and stares at her for a second, and then knocks on the glass really slowly, almost insultingly, what are you knocking at?
What do you know?
What do you know?
I told her I was thinking I don't really agree with this whole zoo thing now, because when your animals start knocking back, that's weird for me. That's too meta.
Yeah. No, I think there's when do you start defining sentience?
Yeah.
A self-awareness.
Yeah.
Well, I was reading a thing about how strong they are. They're incredibly strong.
The strength of 2 or 3 men.
They were saying like a silverback gorilla. They said a silverback gorilla with one hand. They had one of those things. Did 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
With one hand, like this. And then they said a male that was in the throes of reproductive joy, who's horny, I guess broke it. He broke it. Like he went off the chart. How strong these things are.
Yeah.
Because their musculature and their body is made. Can you imagine putting them into football?
Yes, I can.
They would be ripping people's heads
off.
I
know. You imagine that, eh? There we go. Monkey football.
You should teach them how to play the game.
Monkey football.
I mean,
could you imagine monkey football?
I would be watching monkey football.
You'd have the orangutans would be the coaches,
and cougar life.
The chimp would be the quarterback. The gorillas would be it would be the awesome.
Linebackers.
Yeah,
it'd be amazing. Imagine monkey football with performance-enhancing drugs.
Oh, brother.
Monkeys on steroids.
I'd love to see that. Anything with monkeys is better.
Yep.
Anything with monkeys is better.
I'm gonna have to agree.
I could put that on a T-shirt.
Yep.
Anyway, we've reached the end of our time.
Oh my God, that went fast.
I know, right? It felt like no time at all. Mm-hmm. So thank you for watching live. For those of you that are watching live, thank you for downloading it. If you got it off of iTunes, you can stream it from our website. It's on Halifax. halifax.ca. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/itsonhalifax, and take a wild stab at what our Twitter account is.
It's on Halifax?
You got her.
Oh, man, I'm good.
So
Give
awesome.
the man up.
I'm Mark Adam.
Do we have presses?
Mark Adam HFX on Twitter. You can find me there. Pat King.
HFX.
Pat King HFX on Twitter. MJ_979 is our controller. So thank you to Emily for making sure that we, didn't
Run
go over
smoothly.
time and
Stayed on topic.
well,
That didn't work.
that didn't work. There was no topic.
That was no topic.
And of course, our guest was Fat Apollo.
Hello.
Find him on Twitter, Real Fat Apollo.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks
for having me.
1P,
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
I really appreciate it.
This
Won't
was
be
a lot
the
of
last
fun.
we see of you on the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll have to spend more time down Oasis now.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
man.
sure. See if
Absolutely.
we can set up Geeks Versus Nerds.
Yeah.
For sure.
Talk to the big monkey.
We're gonna have to, we'll work it out. But
Yeah.
anyway, for now, we'll see you next week. Sunday, same time, same bat channel. And as a passing note, it is Remembrance Day, so we want to say that we do thank and respect all those that have served our country, that continue to serve our country, and that will serve our country in the future.
Yes.
So thank you very much to all those people and their families, and we'll see you next week.
This episode of It's on Halifax was brought to you by A2 Canada and Oasis on Spring Garden Road.